Hi, I'm Di Bowles, an irrigator from Northern Victoria. Water for the environment sparks people's interests, including mine. I had a lot of questions, so I went out and found the answers. What I found out can hopefully give you the answers to some of your questions too. In a perfect world, water for the environment programs wouldn't exist. We'd all have the water we need to survive without having to impact the environment to get it. But a lot of rivers and creeks in Australia are expected to provide water for towns, industry and farms, and that is really important. To provide a more controlled supply of water, our rivers have become highly modified or regulated. Instead of water flowing uninhibited from the mountains to the sea and helping fish, trees, platypus and other creatures along the way, dams, weirs, levees, pipes and channels divert water to where it's needed and valued. For some rivers, up to half of their water is needed for homes, farms and businesses. And regulation also means rivers sometimes run more in the summer and less in the winter, the opposite of what they naturally would do. All these changes have interrupted the natural processes that rivers, wetlands and floodplains need to help animals and plants survive and thrive. Regulation has also impacted on the cultural values of our traditional owners. Now water is regulated and commodified, traditional owners have lost ownership and had to fight back for a role in decision making. Water for the environment programs keep water aside for managed or regulated rivers to try to make up some of the difference between what would have happened without regulation and what is happening now. Water for the environment is not trying to turn back time and make sure the rivers flowed how they once did. This is impossible. Instead, it's aimed at restoring selected parts of natural flows that can make the biggest difference, parts that can support critical ecological processes. Without water for the environment, our floodplains and rivers and everything that relies on them for survival would slowly die, and no one wants that. This is one I hear a lot. Why don't we just let Mother Nature take its course? The answer is she can't really. Things are not the same as they once were. River management, which uses levees, weirs, channels and landscape changes, means rivers don't flow as high or as often or at the same time of year as they once did. In regulated rivers, the flow is now controlled and water is sent down as needed. In the past, the flow was controlled by only the rainfall. So by regulating rivers, we're already interfering with Mother Nature. Studies have shown historic practices and climate change have resulted in the loss of about 90% of our water birds and native fish, the collapse of platypus and water rat numbers, and the slow death of the rivers, wetlands and floodplain forests we all love. Water for the environment, which has been allocated for about the past 20 years, is about stopping that decline and giving Mother Nature a helping hand. Water for the environment works within the existing regulated system to do the best it can. It's not perfect, but there are no alternatives. It's about repairing and restoring what we can, when we can, how we can, and with what we have.